Everyone, this is Matt with the Fundamental Investing Institute. Thank you for tuning in today. We're going to continue on the topic of broker listed versus off-market deals. We made a video recently which we kind of introduced how broker listed deals work and then how off-market deals work. And I want to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages, and I want to talk about this from the standpoint of the buyer. It's a different perspective from the standpoint of the seller, but from the standpoint of somebody who's looking to buy a business, some of the advantages and disadvantages of going each direction. So we'll start with the broker listed deals. One of the benefits is we have a list price, and hopefully that list price is a reasonable valuation of the company. So the broker's kind of done their work. They've looked at market comps, they've looked at the cash flow of the business, and they've given that seller an estimate of value that is a good starting point. And one of the benefits of that too is the seller now has a reasonable opinion of what the value of that company is. And then hopefully the seller with that broker relationship, they have some expectation of how long the process is going to take, especially when we're bringing in outside financing. The due diligence process, which is kind of the process of investigation and then just dealing with everything that the lender needs. And every time the lender asks for certain things, you know, it never seems like enough. It's just a long process, and hopefully the seller has some expectation. And then hopefully, because they are working with the broker, that seller is more emotionally committed to selling than maybe they would be if it's just an off-market listing. And then we have, of course, we have the information. The broker is pulling together all the information, hopefully all the information you need for the lender, and they're going to make that accessible to the buyer, usually after the buyer signs a non-disclosure agreement. But they'll have some way of presenting all of the financial information and everything to the potential buyer. So that information is already together. The biggest disadvantage of a broker listed company is that the listing, assuming it's on one of these listing sites, it's publicly available. And as more and more people are looking to make these SMB acquisitions, it's becoming very competitive. So the biggest disadvantage there is that you really have to compete, and a good business, once it gets listed, can be snapped up pretty quickly. So with off-market deals, we obviously have a much larger pool of potential companies. Essentially every company that is privately held within our range of whatever financial characteristics we're looking for, maybe we've honed in on an industry. Every privately listed private company is a potential acquisition candidate. Now, of course, not every company wants to sell or is thinking about selling. So these are really some of the disadvantages, and they're pretty numerous. And this is, I think, the bigger traditional search funds are well equipped to get through some of this. But you know, if someone is not thinking about selling their business, they may not have a reasonable expectation of price. There's always something that behavioral psychologists call the endowment effect, and it's this tendency of people to think that their business is worth much more than it actually is. It's just kind of a psychological quirk, but they may not have a reasonable expectation of the price, and so that can be hard to get past. We don't really know how committed they are to selling. They might flirt with the idea, but once they get into the process, it can be hard for them to move forward. And then it can take a long time to find someone who's even willing to consider selling, so that those traditional search fund processes can take a long time. They can take easily a year or more, whereas some of these other, the broker listed deals can get done a little quicker. So what I would recommend is, if anyone is a first-time searcher, self-funded searcher, they probably want to stick to the broker listings to begin with. That doesn't mean that they're going to close off possible off-market deals. You never know what's going to come up, but generally the majority of the focus is going to be on these broker listings. So BizBuySell, LoopNet, looking at these deals and what's available. So we'll end there. Thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing everyone next time.